Good morning, everybody. Thank you for your participation. My name is Aparajita Ahmed, and this is Paul Mayer. We work for Internal Audit and Compliance at the Coordinating Board. And I know that we are pretty close to the lunchtime, so we'll try to make it short and sweet. Paul, did you get the slides? Okay, good. Mark Pell is our Director of Internal Audit and Compliance. He's currently out of office, so we are representing him. So if you have any questions at the end of the slide, you will have his phone number and email address. Feel free to shoot 100 questions. He won't mind. Okay, let's move on to the first slide. This is our organization chart. As you can see, the solid line to the governing board, internal audit is independent to the agency, which means we report directly to the governing board. We don't report to the agency, but we do administratively report to the Commissioner of Higher Education. Internal audit, we have three functions: compliance monitoring, internal audit, and federal subrecipient monitoring. Today, we will focus on the compliance monitoring side. Senate Bill 215, that defined the compliance monitoring function, and it focused on two areas. The number one is financial aid funds such as grants, scholarships, loans, and work study. Those are allocated by the coordinating board to the institution of higher education, and it's to ensure that those were used as intended and in accordance with the laws and rules. The second one is data accuracy and completeness and compliance with laws and regulations, which coordinating board use to calculate the formula funding. And those data we also receive from the institutions, and we look at those data. Some examples are like CBM reporting that we get from you. There are varieties of CBM reportings, like CBM 001, 004. We compile, we review, and we use those information to calculate formula funding.
The two main areas that you'll see here, that funding, the primary source in the first part, that most of the dollars come through Texas grant, if you're familiar with that, and then the bottom one obviously is formula funding. So we're looking at those areas, and all the federal financial aid is handled, it's not part of what we look at, or not by statute anyway. So.
Okay, good. Okay. Audit processes. We follow professional auditing standards. We have qualified and well-trained staff, and they perform auditing at your institutions. The process emphasizes mainly on planning, communication, and disruption minimizing approach at work. The reporting phase has multiple layers. So our audit results, we communicate that to the institution's president via this final report. And the report contains if we have any audit issues or any audit findings, and then we have our audit recommendations in there, and then the report also has the institution's response in there. I will let Paul drive this slide. Paul?
Sure. So there's other resources that you can use as well for public universities. As you can see, universities are required to have an internal audit area, and you can see the government code that's associated there. Also, part of the requirement is that your internal audit plan is approved and posted, so it's available, as well as the annual report that's done at the end of the year as far as what was accomplished. So all those pieces are required by statute and should be part of what you have for your university internal audit.
I think you all are familiar with the Texas State Auditor's Office. I mean, we call them SAO. They are the state's independent auditor, and they perform varieties of audit services. They go to the institutions of higher education, they go to state agencies and they perform several audits over there. And there are some external auditors, such as federal auditors, and one example is Department of Education. They go to agencies and institutions to audit different programs that's under their purview. And we are required as an internal auditor to follow standards, certain standards. One is Red Book standards. We call it Red Book standards. It's from Institute of Internal Auditors. And then the other one is Yellow Book standards, which is by the Texas government. It's the Texas government auditing standards. So for the compliance side, they mostly follow the Yellow Book standards. But we take extra mile to follow Red Book and some other standards for the best practice purpose. This is our new website, and we have a page for internal audit and compliance monitoring. As you can see, we have our internal audit charter in there. If anybody wants to report any fraud, they can click that report fraud link and it will come directly to Mark Pale. We have our internal audit and compliance reports in there. We have annual audit reports. We also have our approved audit plans in there. So feel free to contact any of us or Mark Pell if you have any questions or if you want to see any audit reports that we already issued. We keep only for 3 years as required by our agency, but if you want to go back, feel free to ask.
So you'll find those reports posted after our board meeting where they're presented, and if you want an idea of what kinds of things we're looking for and finding, that's a good place to look.
That's it. If you have any questions, don't shoot the messengers. So please, feel free.
Because I know that a lot of members here, trustees and regents, are also members of other boards, volunteer boards and communities.
Right.
How often should a change of auditors or organizations that we volunteer in should change, would you say? Is there something that's recommended?
There is no such requirements. It depends on the performance, I think. So there is no such requirements as opposed to the external auditors who perform, say, our financial statement audit. There is based on the bid or the contract, we have to change them periodically, either every 10 or 5 years, something like that. For internal audit, there is no such requirement. So I think it depends on the performance and how efficiently they are auditing, how efficiently they are developing their audit plan, whether it's risk-based approach or not. So there are some factors that can drive them whether they need some changes or not.
As a guideline, you can always use the Sarbanes-Oxley guidelines as a place to look. Typically, as a guideline, you're looking at that 5 to 10 year period. You ought to be taking a look on whether you might want to make a change. But that's obviously this guideline.
Well, I know that like the auditing board, our auditors, even though if we approve the same audit firm, they have a certain period where they change the person who's in charge of the audit within the same firm. So I think that's just kind of like, I think, goes down the eyes looking at it.
Right, right.
Many large firms have requirements themselves as far as that rotation too, as far as they'll rotate in after a certain number of years, a different partner that's on it. But the balance there that you're trying to reach is the continuity and efficiency of using the same firm versus another set of eyes to help you see things that the same firm might not be seeing.
Any question?
Okay, thank you.
That's it. Thank you. We have our business cards with us, so